So now for today's lesson, let's talk about the combination with repetition. So at the end of the lesson, we can properly derive the formula in finding the number of combination of n objects taken r at a time if repetition is allowed. Carefully determine the values of n and r based on a given problem involving combination with repetition. Again, when we say with repetition, pwedeng ulitin or inuulit. And accurately solve real-life problems involving combination with repetition. So in the previous lesson, we have discussed that the combination of object refers to the number of ways we can arrange objects where the order is not important. What if we are given objects to be arranged and they can be repeated as many times as we wish? For example, there are 5 flavors of ice cream available and you can have only 2 scoops. So if the person can select 2 scoops at a time, then he can have one flavor 2 times. What do you think will be the variations in this case? What do you think, class? So in this case of combination, this is an example of combination with repetition. So in this lesson, you will learn how to solve problems involving combination with repetition. Now, what is the difference between combination without and with repetition in terms of values of n and r? So how does the number of objects to choose from affect the number of combination with repetition? So in the number of combination of n objects taken r at a time, so the number of combination of n objects taken r at a time is denoted by nr is equal to n factorial divided by the quantity n minus r factorial times r factorial. So example, the combination of 5 objects taken 3 at a time. So the value of n here is 5 and the value of r is 3. So by substituting from the given formula, this is our formula. Okay, so we can now substitute n as 5 and r as 3. So we have 5 factorial divided by the quantity 5 minus r factorial times 5 minus 3r 3 factorial times 3 factorial. So here's our formula. nr is equal to n factorial over the quantity n minus r factorial times r factorial. Yan, para hindi kayo malito. Okay, yung given natin is 5 as n, 3 as r. So, sinubstitute natin dito sa ating formula. Okay, now, let us simplify our answer. So, 5 factorial is over to 2 factorial, 3 factorial. So, let us expand 5 factorial up to 3 factorial. Kasi in our denominator, ang malaking given na factorial ay 3 factorial. So that we can cancel it, lumit yung value. So 3 factorial, 3 factorial. Cancel natin siya. 5 times 4, and then divided by 2. So 5 times 4, that is 20, divided by 2, 10. Okay? So the answer here is 10. So there are 10 possible combinations. So, in combination with repetition, now we're talking about combination with repetition. It is a combination where objects can be used more than once. Okay? Again, combination with repetition where objects can be used more than once. So, higit pa sa isa. So, meaning to say, 2 or more. Okay? The formula for finding the number of combinations if repetition is allowed is given by n plus r minus 1. Okay, so combination with repetition. So the combination of 5 objects taken 3 at a time where repetition is allowed can be solved using yung kaninang formula po natin. Ito po. Okay? So n plus r minus 1 and then we have the value of r. So dito, we will identify first the combination yung from the given itself ang objects natin ay 5 at ang R natin ay R, which is 3, sorry. So, 5 is N, R is 3. So, we can now substitute from the given formula. So, kanina, N plus R minus 1. So, ngayon, N is 5 plus R is 3. And then, based on the formula, minus 1. And then, ang ating R, ito siya, is 3. Alright? So, 5 plus 3 minus 1. So, you will get 7. And then, 3. So, if you're going to have this, so, kanina, based on sa formula natin, so we have N, parenthesis NR, is equal to N factorial over the quantity N minus R factorial times R factorial. So, after getting these values, yung 7R, 7,3 natin, na N at R values, we can now substitute from the given formula. So, ito yung kaninang formula natin, di ba? N factorial all over quantity N minus R factorial times R factorial. So, yung nakuha nating 7 and 3, we can now substitute. So, 7 and then 3. So, value of N is 7, 7 factorial over the quantity 7 minus R factorial, 3 factorial, times 3 factorial. So, simplify natin. 7 minus 3, that is 4 factorial, times 3 factorial. And then, copy 7 factorial. And then, let us expand 7 factorial up to 4 factorial. So, again, titingnan natin yung denominator kung ano yung pinakamataas na factorial notation na given. Para pang-cancel natin, lumiit yung value. So, that is, if we're going to expand 7 factorial, 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 factorial. So, in the denominator, the highest factorial notation is 4 factorial. So, cancel natin to. So, 7 times 6 times 5 over 3 times 2 times 1, we will get 35 if we're going to divide them. So, therefore, there are 35 possible combinations. Okay? Next. Let's have example number 1. A flower shop has 6 different colors of rose available. How many combinations of 4 roses can be selected if any color can be chosen more than once? Okay? So, first, the problem illustrates combination with repetition. Okay? This is an example of combination with repetition problem. So, unang process, syempre, you have to identify our N and R values. So, a flower shop has 6 different colors of rose available. So, therefore, the value of N here is 6. And then, there are 4 roses can be selected. So, the value of R is 4. Okay? So, by substituting those values, yung N natin na 6 at R na 4, dito sa formula natin, so we will get N plus R minus 1, R. So, ang N natin is 6, ang R ay 4, based on the formula, always minus 1, and then 4 ang R. So, we will get N and R. So, N is 9, 4 is R. So, by having that, yung 9 at 4 natin as N and R, we can now substitute from the given formula. Ano ulit yung formula? Quantity NR is equal to N factorial over the quantity N minus R factorial times R factorial. So, kaya po naging ganito yung sagot natin. So, yung kaninang value natin, kanina po ang value natin here is 9, 4. So, N is 9, R is 4. So, substitute na natin N factorial, that is 9 factorial, divided by N minus R. So, 9 factorial all over the quantity 9 minus 4 factorial, 4 factorial. So, ito yan. 9 factorial. So, 9 minus 4 factorial, that is 5 factorial. And then times 4 factorial. And then if we're going to divide them, if we're going to expand and then divide, the answer is 126. Okay, di ba i-expand nyo tong 9 factorial? Ito, dito na lang. 9 times 6 times 5 times 9 times 8, times 7 times 6 times 5 factorial. So, hanggang 5 factorial lang. And then, all over 5 factorial times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So, ang pwede natin i-cancel is the 5 factorial. So, if you're going to multiply 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 all over 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, yung magiging product niyan, you will divide. The answer is 126. So, therefore, there are 126 combination of 4 roses can be selected. Next, example number 2. You have enough money to buy 5 cookies. So, you have 5 cookies. A bakery sells the following flavors of cookies. It can be chocolate, almond, or butter. So, how many different selections can you buy? First, the problem illustrate combination with repetition since a cookie flavor can be chosen more than once. So, una, identify natin yung values ng N and R. So, we have here given 5 cookies. So, the value of our R is 5. And since there are 3 different flavors, which is chocolate, almond, butter, the value of N here is 3. So, we will first substitute from the formula. So, N plus R minus 1, that is N plus R minus 1 quantity. Sa ilalim yung R. Okay, so that's why we got N is 3, R is 5, and minus 1 based from the formula. And 5 is R. So, 3 plus 5, that is 8 minus 1, 7. Then copy 5 as R. And then, based from here, so the formula is NR is equal to the quantity, equal to N factorial divided by the quantity N minus R factorial times R factorial. So, palitan natin si N ng 7. So, we have 7, 5. So, N is 7 factorial all over the quantity. 7 minus 5 factorial times 5 factorial. So, you will get here is 1. 7 factorial divided by 7 minus 5, 2 factorial times 5 factorial. So, you will expand this first. 7 factorial up to 5 factorial. Since the denominator, the highest factorial notation in the denominator is 5 factorial. So, you will get 7 times 6 times 5 factorial. All over 2 factorial, 5 factorial. So, cancel natin yan. So, 7 times 6 divided by 2 factorial. So, you will get 21. So, therefore, we can buy 21 different selections. So, now, this is your turn again. I want you to answer here in a one-whole sheet of paper, and you need to upload also your solution or the picture of your solution in the Google form provided in the Google Classroom. So again, ipapasa nyo to within the period of our math class before our math class ends. Okay? So this is recorded. So that's all for today. Thank you and goodbye.